angels is full of devils. Always with their eyes out for the next best thing. She looks around and at first she sees you, but after sucking it dry she says she's ready through. And so she walks along to find next little sucker who will buy her drinks, and maybe he will love her. But then as soon as she comes she goes, you got nothing, is this hell? Maybe not, but I'll send you already there if you're going out tonight.
My name is Corwin Hutto. I'm with the U.S. Air Force. I try not to associate completely with the military, since I am by my nature separate from earthly things associated with Christianity and Jesus. Some of it was difficult to watch, very visceral, especially the opening scene and some of the further scenes. But the scenes that captured the caring aspect of the characters were definitely my favorite. It's all about caring genuinely for a person, the difference between love and sexuality, an exploration of genuine caring. I can think of a couple of people I would recommend it to. Some people who are not as connected with the average studio type film. I can tell it was a genuine work of art, something that came from inside of somebody, and definitely worthy of praise on that level.
Natalie, Chula. Well, it was really, really interesting. That's just the main word that comes into my head, interesting. And the first 5 minutes were really raw, you know, but this movie, it just really just kind of pulls you in. It's kind of irresistible, and it makes you look at things that you may not want to look at, you know. People aren't good, and they're entirely good or bad, and it's just filled, it just engrosses you in this tale involving these characters that all just become intertwined somehow, and in kind of a gritty, really interesting way. It did touch me because, you know, it's just it touches on way heavy issues, and so many of them. And you know, there's drug addiction, there's sex addiction, and there's, you know, family crises, and there's homophobia, and it's almost everything in the book. It's just, it touched me because it's just like, I like movies about really about the human spirit, and like how we all falter, but you know, and when when we are faltering, we don't think that we're necessarily faltering, but sometimes you just need to reach out to family, which is like one of the most basic human relationships, and a lot more. Take a chance, you know. It's very unlike anything you've ever seen before, but you won't be sorry if you really, really want a taste of reality, because whether you want to know it or not, things like this happen, and it's good to, it's really like a tour de force, and there's really no vanity to this film. It's very raw, and makes you think. Those are good movies. It really makes you think. Well, I'm not completely unfamiliar with you know, movies that have a darker side, because I'm a movie buff, but this one really stood out because it's got like a real honesty to it, and you know, it goes places that not a lot of films go. Like there's a touch of homoeroticism to it, and in America we don't really like to go there. And as we were talking, there's this need to label. And the great thing about this film is that the characters that have got that kind of thing going on, that type of turmoil, it's very ambiguous and very subtle. And the whole drug addiction thing is, you know, It's, you know, it's a lot to see, but in a very good way. Well, everyone, just give it a chance, because it's, you know, I had no idea what I was expecting when I walked into this theater, but I'm really glad I saw it. And if you want something, you know, we live in a time where it's like so much easier to just make a big box office movie that doesn't really provoke any thoughts or conjure up a lot of emotions that are, you know, but just go there, because it could be cathartic. Like, I lead a pretty healthy lifestyle, but still I could relate to this movie. It's just so many issues to touch on, and it's not to be missed.
Hey, my name's Jonathan Lim. It's a more intimate characterization, because it's like a stage play up in the screen, and it's I would say that it was more like dealing with your own prejudices and issues, and also dealing with sibling rivalry is one of the main thoughts that came into my mind, and also dealing with whoever we have along on our lives as we go through, who comes into our lives and helps us or makes it difficult for us. I was more focused on how the brothers, jealousy between the brothers is what really got to me as far as that movie goes. Just because the addict character was really jealous of the gay character because his mom favored him, even though he was actually the one that was standing by the mother. It just paints the gay character as a strong character as opposed to the addict. But in the end, they do resolve somewhat their issues after their mother passed away. For someone who wants, I would say it'll bring up issues that you have if you have brothers and sisters, and also deals with themes about what happens to us after we leave the world, how we impact the world while we were in there, and what happens to the people that we leave behind. It's wonderful to have films like this, which we won't see in mainstream Hollywood. Hey, my name's Jonathan Lim, Salinas, California. I just finished watching Ameer's film, The Agostina, and it's a it's a film with a lot of layers. You really have to pay attention to the little nuances in the movie. I love the idea of the offering, because pets actually do that, and also the development of the characters as they devolve from organized into chaos. I would say it starts out as a like a tourist travelogue for Greece, because it has a wonderful cinematography. But then you get to the characters, and you get to the characters' heads, and just go with the experience. And it's a wild ride. Once you get to the end, you have to just enjoy the ride and get it to the finish, and you'll be in for a wonderful surprise. Great cast, wonderful acting, and kudos to the actors for going with the script and letting go just like that.